That's great. I like that you show me videos of dudes on heroin twitching in a bathroom with a nice, pleasant song
You
playing.
know, I gotta remind you of the good in the world, bud. Don't you know?
Hello,
Hello,
I'm Joe.
I'm Parker.
But you already knew that unless you didn't. Welcome back, first time viewer. If you are viewing this, hopefully you'll stay past a minute.
A minute.
Yeah, I'm giving them generous times. I just want you hanging there.
We were just watching a cursed, like, drug PDA thing about heroin. Buddy was just literally like seizing and shaking on the ground. It was a little spooky. So kids, don't do heroin.
We've been watching a lot of things lately. We've been watching.
Not the joint.
Eh,
He drops it in the
we've
coffee
been
pot.
we've been watching. It started out this movie binge. It started out with 1917. All right,
Whoa.
two guys running through a war. Basically, is the summary of that movie.
running simulator.
Yeah, it was literally running simulator. It's like follow this guy as he just crawls through dirt. And I mean, it was interesting, I guess.
Entertaining.
I didn't see as much war explosion stuff as I thought I would, but it's not bad, I guess. It was a decent movie.
Budget.
Budget, yeah, but I mean, whatever. I don't have much to say on it. It was just a movie. Like I don't know how to explain it. It was
Coming from a like, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna call you like a warhead, but you know what I'm saying. Like you're a war historian person that likes that shit and knows about that shit.
not even war history, but just as a movie, it was just I didn't.
Yeah, but coming and seeing all that shit, I feel like it was a.
I mean, I didn't think about the weaponry or anything at all, because that's what I'm saying. There wasn't really anything. It was just these two guys running this message.
It was more about the story and the plot of the person
than war. Yeah,
than war.
War was
Yeah.
like just the setting. I feel like, but it's like,
I think
what do we want? I made you finish. I made him finish The Departed. Okay, everybody's seen The
Yes.
Departed. The Departed is about an hour. Well, depending on how interested you are in the gangsters, and it's a decent story. I like it. The Departed is about an hour of setting up characters before everything just starts hitting the fan. Dude, it came out in 2006, so I don't want to be a spoiler if you haven't stumbled upon it yet. But the end is a lot.
It definitely is, because I would you say that I left basically like 10, 20 minutes before all the action started the first night?
Parker can't like sit through anything ever, even if he's interested in it. He'll find some bullshit to do. Either he'll go eat peanuts or he'll respond to snaps. He just like I've seen this man listen and like intently watch a video, but still get up and like back away while watching the TV intently just to go do something else. Like he just can't sit there.
Yeah, I got mad ADHD jittery shit. I don't know what it's from.
Yeah, we went through a lot. We watched. You know what? Then the last thing, which is really what we're fresh off of, is the Pacific.
Yeah, which just a little side note. You kept calling like it's a mini series, which they're like long ass episodes, like hour long episodes.
Yeah,
You're
they're like 40.
movie. I was like, is it a movie? I'm not saying that it's not a movie, but it's like, huh?
I mean, it's a mini series, but it's like a long movie to me because it's not like
Filmed like Friends and shit.
yeah, it's not like there's multiple seasons. There's just 10 episodes. Just because they're split up into episodes, it's just a really long movie.
Yeah.
Same with Band of Brothers.
Which it's made by Tom Hanks.
Yeah, exactly. I love the HBO like Generation Kill, Band of Brothers, and The Pacific are probably my three favorite war movies. Like everybody talks about again, Saving Private Ryan and stuff like that. Yeah, for the technical maybe, but if you want like historical accuracy, weapon accuracy, like equipment accuracy, place accuracy, time accuracy, of course, again, they're a little changed for an audience. But I think The Pacific and Band of Brothers are two of the best miniseries for both the theaters of war from an American perspective, at least the Army in Europe and the Marines in the Japanese theater, which gives you kind of an idea of what the Navy went through. It's not so much about who we're following, the Marines or the Army, but more the theater of war, I guess.
Yeah, like you were saying with the Pacific, it's more environment.
Well, those are Tom Hanks's words. I was reading it where he was saying it was like hideously difficult for these guys, and it's more focused on. Whereas Band of Brothers was more about the camaraderie and everything of the group of guys fighting. The Pacific is more kind of
Band
about
of
the
Brothers.
environment and everything.
Which I have really been enjoying the Pacific. Like like everybody and who they are and like the importance of them, but just coming from like
Well, they're
I guess-
important to me. I mean, they were guys that fought in the war, and some of them wrote a memoir of it. Some were poets, but they were not like famous guys. They're
Yeah,
just regular
but they're
guys. It's like I don't know what other thing I could relate it to. Like Donnie Brasco, right? That movie. The guy was an actual agent
Yeah.
he's a real guy, but like he wasn't like super famous. They just borrowed his story. They made a movie about his story. So these guys, they're kind of like
importance to them.
war guys, like, you know, Jack Singlob and like people like, I mean, I was talking about the Jocko podcast, John Stryker Meyer, who now these are all like Spec Ops guys who we get to hear their stories because a lot of the stuff's been declassified, and that stuff's super interesting to me. Especially like the founder guys of the OSS and the like the secret shit that was not secret but special operations stuff, like the early thing with the Devil's Brigade and the SAS, the Desert Rats who were fucking with Rommel in the early days of World War II. I mean, just Spec Ops and like covert shit when it works. I'm super interested in it. When smaller forces are able to fight like guerrillas and stuff, just those stories are cool to me. Those against the odds raids that are done with
skill.
Skill and like quietly
Finesse.
done versus a big battle like. Which I'm also into. I'm just interested in war stuff.
Yeah. You like the real life shit that could easily be written into a movie script.
Yeah, exactly. I would more rather read about the history of the Green Beret or the Rangers or something and hear about some of those stories than, for example, hear about knights or Napoleon's battles, because it's like open battles, like, okay, but also I think I'm interested more in modern history, like 1900 to now, modern and postmodern, which is really shaped the world for us. Right now.
It's definitely shaped the world for us, and it's very easy for us to grasp onto that because it's more recent, you know. And because it's cool to think about like the knights but I feel like for me, the medieval time period is a very just kind of odd time period in my opinion. I'm not like not interested in it, but it's just kind of like knights and armor, but I would like the Greek and like the Roman shit, all the Spartans and stuff, all that shit interests me too.
I just like war stories, and the reason I like them now and also learning about this is because you see a lot of how far you can push the human body and mind during war, and you can read about like the most horrifying actions ever that you could read about that'll make you like I've been reading books, you put them down, you're like, holy shit, like what did I just read? What happened, like what did he see, you know? And you can read something like that, and then in the very next sentence you could read something about like the most amazing act of like humanity you've ever seen. So it's like it's such a contrast in war. And of course this is not my opinion, like my original thought. Of course I have a perspective on it, but I feel like a lot of people think that way as well, that it's like it's cool to see what humans are capable of, both good and bad. And also war is always attached to something that's like kind of world changing also, so it's a big important thing. I feel like it always matters. I guess it's interesting. It's the place to be at the time, and I don't know, like think about it, when there's a World War II, that's all that matters to the entire world, is that war. Like that's what's going on.
War really, if I remember correctly from my political science class, war comes from like peace, you know?
I thought you were about to go, if I remember from Fallout, war never changes.
No, it's like countries aren't gonna be happy with being at peace because there's nothing to be done then. Do you know what I'm saying? There's no other...
I guess, but also that's kind of interesting. It's like, how do you, like, what do you do now? Like, how do you get more... Because why did they fight wars? To like get land to feed their population and shit. It's like, well, what do we do now? Because it's like, I guess now it would be towards space more. Like, who can get on the moon first? Who can get influence on Mars? Like, you think maybe that's the next step?
Yeah, the whole like,
because we ran out of
the world conquer ship is kind of burnt out.
Yeah, because of the whole, everybody's got like, if you try and step on me, well, I guess we can't do anything here. So what else can we get? Like, you know what I mean?
Space wars.
Fucking,
you would have to engineer a completely new type of gun. Shoot some fucking lasers. Shooting lasers just fucking out in space. But what would we be fighting about? What is in space that we have to...
Oh, news just broke. We found this really needed mineral for spacecraft on Mars. Uh-oh, the U.S. controls Mars. Well, Russia gonna go and take some. Boom, war. But it's like, do they space nuke each other now? It's like, what the fuck do we
Yeah.
do now, bro? Now it's all like cyber
Well,
shit, right?
because also
now
yeah,
you gotta
cyber
hack
shit.
stuff and be all
Cyber
SBO
cyber
covert
warfare is
knowledge.
the new shit. Because it's not you're not trying to go for nowadays. I don't think you're trying to go for like the destruction and the not violence, but like the the explosions and shit like that. And that's not what you're going for in war. You're not going for land, but now you're looking for what people said and shit like that.
I guess it depends on who you're fighting too. Are you fighting an army or a group? You know what I'm saying? Like when I don't. When are we gonna have like what happened? Like what if somebody wanted to fight a war? Do they just agree not to use nukes and just fight a conventional one? And it's like we
Yeah,
both
probably.
know we have nukes and we're just gonna like ignore that.
Well, how many countries have nukes? 7? I don't know. But yeah, they know. I mean, mutually assured destruction. They can either try and either one like win or lose, or just fucking lose. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's the cool thing. Like that's those guys are getting guap now. Those guys that understand firewalls and this and that and how to encrypt the cutting edge of cybersecurity. Those guys are probably in super high demand. And I don't know who. I don't know if that's like a programmer or what that is, but
Computer science.
computer science, whatever that is. But it's like it's just so. I mean, I took programming in high school. I took 1, 2, and then app programming, and it was. I mean, I did it. Dude,
Same.
I'm pretty sure the teacher knew too. I literally downloaded an entire, like, done. I was so lazy that I downloaded the finished tic-tac-toe game, and then I just went in and recoded the colors. And I was like, yeah, look at.
Yeah, we recoded the colors and
And he
changed.
he just looks at me and he's like, okay, I'll just give you a C. I was like, thanks.
Dude, I think we're thinking about the same teacher, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I might have to edit that out. I don't know if that picks me up, but yeah.
Yeah, we're thinking about the same teacher.
Yeah.
But because I think I was in his class at the time that the cow fell on me. I had a slight concussion the next day, so I jumped on the opportunity to not go to school. Oh, slight concussion! Like I'm not
Dude,
gonna fucking go.
was in that class with me, and he was he's like, dude, look, and I looked over one time, and he was just staring at his fucking computer screen that was just black, like the computer wasn't on. I don't know if he was just having a rough ass day, or if he was contemplating life, or if he just got blitzed in like the gym or something, but
Yeah.
like. He was just staring at the thing. I was like, "Are you waiting for it to boot up, or what? You have to press the button."
I don't think he cared about like people cheating.
I don't think he wanted to be there. I think he was a little peculiar. He's probably plotting his exit, like like the other teacher we mentioned in a couple podcasts ago. Remember the science teacher? Like where probably the teaching job was just a stepping stone.
Oh yeah.
But that's a testament to how good they are. Because think about how many teachers were like, "This is a great school to teach at. It's very hard to get a job here," and those guys were like, "Fuck this shit. We're just here for the meantime." Like,
the computer science teacher. He was an odd one.
he was an odd one.
What language did you code in? Because you might have taken it earlier.
It was the Apple one.
Oh fuck that! What is?
I don't know what it was.
What the fuck is that shit called?
I don't know, but I tried to do some stuff with C++ because they also had that one on the computer, like the program for it or whatever. But my whole original point was that shit's boring. I mean, no offense if you like coding, but gosh darn, dude.
Well, it's not that it's boring. It's just repetitive. And
I understand if you have a vision of something you want to create and you really enjoy coding, you really understand it, you could create this cool
app.
interface. Yeah, but the actual doing of it and learning the commands and everything is just not for me. I mean, I would be cool to understand what's going on, why it works, what's happening, but like to go into it, no.
There's a difference between understanding like hardware, like understanding how my computer runs, but understanding how software runs.
But you do too. Like you understand why. Like for example, Audacity. You understand maybe not the ins and outs, but you understand how it's working, how it's connecting, what it's doing, how it's getting the mic to pick up.
Which is all thanks to coding. Like every little button you see is coded in there. I see. Yeah, when I got that concussion, I just went home. Because they all worked on it the week before for the final.
Told that story?
I don't know, but yeah, probably. But I just went home and downloaded a virtual computer on this computer, and then downloaded some stupid ass trivia app calculator game, and I got a B on it. I just changed some code and changed the name in it, and when it was last edited, and got a B. That's why school is bullshit. Like, I'm not, like, I can't memorize like you can, right? But I still just bullshitted my way through. Like, how the fuck are they gonna check half the shit? It's like it's like leaving Walmart with like through the self checkout. Like, yeah, you can scan half your shit, but the other half they might not even check.
I mean, I just don't. I think that's different. I would cheat on school shit, but I don't. I'm not a big stealing guy.
I'm not saying stealing, but I'm saying like
everybody has their own thing, right? Like everybody, some people hate lying. I don't really give a fuck. I just, my thing is stealing. Like if you do it, I'm not gonna like freak out.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like.
I get it, but I'm saying I don't know. It wasn't. I never needed because it was just repetition, right? So it's like, for example, math. People aren't. I don't think people are bad at math. They just forget the steps because there's so many steps to do. That's why people do better when they say, "Oh, you could have a flashcard on the test," because they'll just write the steps. It's like, I don't know why they have to memorize it. For what reason this connects to daily life, or if they're just trying to get you that good at it, like your times tables, you know, where they're trying to get you to.
The timetables I get,
but I mean, I was able to just remember all this shit, like rap verses. That's why I could remember them, because it's just easy to remember. I don't know if it's that fresh. Like I would just look at it before class and this is the step. And also what I do is I'd go to the hardest thing on the test and do that. That I was really I'd look at that right before I did it, and then I'd go to that just before I forgot all the steps.
That makes sense.
And then I'd go do all the other stuff. But it's also like multiple choice. Unless you're like a fucking idiot, you could pretty much get what's going on.
Deduce. My favorite shit was when you're like doing a test and you're like on question 3 and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know how to do this shit. And you skip a couple questions, you get to like question 6, and you're like, oh, okay, and that gives you like how to do question 3. Like, you get the answer in another question. And that's my favorite fucking shit to do.
Where you try and cheat and you hit them with the thinking look.
I would do that shit even if they looked over at me. Like, if I wasn't cheating. Well, but I was never not cheating. My ass would always be like...
I would go through like a range of emotions where I'd get the test and then it's like immediately it's like fear because you don't know what's going, like what the hell is going on. You didn't study. Then it's like it goes into... No, then it goes into like you start crying, and then it goes into like like you get angry at it, and then it goes into like just you give up and just pick an answer.
Well, then you get a couple questions like you knew the answers, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be fucking easy. That was me in fucking math class. I would get like the first 3 answers. I was like, oh, I got this shit easy. After 2020, this whole entire education system is gonna be changed. We might go back into we will probably go back into like in-person school, but I'm sure they're gonna set up some weird like half the classes in Zoom, half the classes in person, and then the next day the other half is like, you know, it flip-flops. It's too convenient for the schools and all the teachers and shit for not all year round. Yeah, that shit is not convenient, right? A whole all year round online school class. But some days I can, like, imagine if the teacher's sick or like can't make it to class. They can just fucking set it up on the online board and just go on the Zoom call. It's just this has opened up so many different pathways. I feel like education with the online and how it's being proven that it can be done.
Like I said, I don't know. I'm not going to join a school board or anything. All I can say is I don't know how to solve the problem for the majority. All I can think of is what I want to do and change with if I have kids. If I'm lucky enough to be able to afford certain things, I want to see if I can have them have more of an outdoor thing, like science, sign them up for that kind of thing. I'm sure there's something like that exists.
What happens if they did some like sort of like summer camp type thing? Not like where you had to like sleep out for school, you know, you didn't have to stay somewhere for school. It's not a boarding school. But like the activities and shit they have at summer camp, obviously they can do a little bit easier because it's only for like 2 months or whatever. But doing some shit like that instead of fucking 8 classes a day or whatever it was, I don't even remember. It was like,
I don't know, man. It was trash. I mean, this is our depressing podcast of the month. These are 2 topics that war and school. What more
depression?
What like yeah. Heartbreak is bad, but have you ever gone to school?
For real.
Come on, man.
That shit breaks your heart every day.
The only thing I can really thank school for is probably my social skill. It really helped me sharpen that. That's something I use all the time, every day. That I think really got well with school because you learn your generation kind of.
Yeah, I can't even say that happened for me because freshman year I didn't talk to people, and sophomore year I kind of did. What helped me, like why I'm not fucking socially awkward right now, even though I didn't do anything in high school, is because of gaming. I talk to people on Discord.
All right.
Doses.